Hi SketchUp users, this is a demonstration of a new plugin for adding or auto-adding dimensions to your drawings. When you install it, you will get three buttons, a horizontal, vertical, and a settings button. The horizontal button is for adding dimensions on the horizontal. So for example, I select this line, click it, it adds it in on the horizontal. If I select this line, I didn't actually select it. If I select this line, which you can do with a loop like that, it will add the dimension like that. So there's no need to go over here and click the buttons. Just click the button and it adds the dimension. Okay, so that's pretty okay, but it's much more, it's much faster than this. Let's say, for example, we wanted to add dimensions to all three lines across here. I click the button and it adds the dimension. I click it again, it removes the dimension. You notice also that when I click the button, it offsets the measurement or set the size a certain distance from the line that you've selected. To change that, you go into your settings, and in here I can put in 300, so it's double the distance. Click OK. I can click the button again and then again, and now it's updated it. If I want these measurements to be aligned, it's very simple. I press the minus sign and press enter, and it aligns them. So this speeds up the process. Next thing, I can add dimensions by surface. So if I select the surface, add the dimension, sorry, not by surface and selecting the lines. So basically I click all lines that connected to that surface by double clicking. I click and it adds top and bottom, and I click the vertical and it adds the dimensions and it offsets them whatever settings we have in here, which is 300. The gap setting here you'll see is for adding in dimensions in a gap in your selection. So let's undo this. So to remove dimensions too, you don't have to use the razor tool, you just select them and click the button again, so it's very handy. So say for example I have three lines here in a row, 1, 2, 3, but I also have a gap. If you want to add in that dimension, you switch on the gap dimension here. I will show you that in the groups when we come to do dimension in groups. Okay, so for example, if I want to add dimensions on this, if I click horizontal, it adds, and then click vertical, it adds, and see how it splits this up here because the line is split. So again, that's very speedy. Just to throw in one more thing here, there's a couple of modes that you can work in. You can work in perspective mode or parallel mode, and there's different operations that happen. So that'll be explained in the documentation. But let's take, for example, we have, say this was a plan of a house. Just this is the wall, so we're looking down on top of it. I know it's not much of a house. But if we select the button, it will add in the dimensions, and select this, it would add in dimensions. So you get new dimensions all added in internally and externally in a click of a button. So you can imagine a complex drawing, you can just select all the lines, click, and it'll add it on to you for you. So that's got a lot of speed and potential there. And that's the worst thing that I hated doing in SketchUp was adding on the dimensions, because I kept picking up the wrong points. Okay, so let's take a look at the groups now. There's some more features in that, but I just want this to be a quick introduction. Okay, here we have some groups. Now we want to add some dimensions on this. Just to point out, first of all, when we do add dimensions, you'll see here we've got the green axis, the red axis, and the blue axis, the vertical one. So let's switch on our layers, and let's see if I can bring this layer tool out here. I've forgotten how to do it. let's switch on our layers tool. So these are our layers here. Okay, so if in order to put a dimension on a object like this, all you have to do is bring that edge nearest to your or to your monitor screen, or nearest to your eyes. So if I'm looking at this object here and I tilt it towards me, this line is the nearest to me. So when I click the button, that's the one that gets the dimension added to it. If I want to do the bottom edge, I tilt. Now I'm looking at the bottom edge. When I click the button, it adds a dimension to it. If I want to do this edge, all I do is bring it towards the screen here. I'm looking at this edge, click the vertical button, and it adds it on. Very simple to use to add your dimensions. Now, if you wanted to add the dimensions to the back edge rather than the front edge, two ways you can do it. You can just spin around and add your, look at the camera again, select your object and click. Now it's on the back edge. Spin it around. Now it's on the front edge. But say there was a wall here and you couldn't see it when you spin it around. Say there's a wall at the back edge here. For demonstration purposes, I will just add one in. And we'll throw a click that, make it a group. And now we wanted to add the dimension to that back edge here, but when we spin around we can't see it, we'd have to hide it. So instead of hiding stuff and all that, we've added in the ability to put the dimension on the back edge. So if I select the object and click the horizontal button, and now I press the plus sign, press enter, it will move the dimension to the back edge. So let's do the bottom. Click the horizontal button. Want to move the dimension to the back edge, click the plus sign, and puts it on the back. So it's very very speedily. Right, so next thing, again, we can add it vertical dimension, add it on there. Again, you can type in your offset distance, say 300, press enter. I did another operation in between there, so that didn't work. Let's just do that again. So I'll point this to my nearest to me, this edge. Click the vertical button. See the distance it's set off here. Should be able to put in 100. And that didn't work. And is that because I moved it? Let me see. Yeah. So I have to type immediately afterwards or it won't work. So you see how it's moving there, 300. So you've got control of the offset. You can increase the size of your measurements. Obviously you know this in the model info. You can go in here. I normally work around 16 with bold. Okay, select all, update, and I normally work with your dots. And that's it. So actually I normally work without the measurements. Without that. Okay. You can see it a lot better now. So now I've explained that, let's have a look at the add dimensions speedily to, if I select this, I've got all these to add dimensions onto. I just click that button, it adds it all on, including the gap, because we have it set up to add in the gap. If I switch it off, okay, let's click the button. So actually this is not the updated version I'm using here, so let's erase all those again and run it again. So select, click, it adds in dimensions but leaves out the gap. Undo, go to settings, switch on gap, OK, click the button again, it adds it in. Now say I want to align these dimensions up, press my minus sign and it's done. If I want to add them to the back, plus sign to the back, click my minus sign again. Okay. So there you have it. I will do some more on this. There's some other features in here we haven't explained. It's got a feature to have layers. When I add dimensions in here, I can switch these layers on and off. Blue dimensions, green dimensions. Sorry, I was thinking there's something wrong here. So you have to just like that. You have to. So it hides all the dimensions I put on the green layers. So there you have it. This is just a test video, test run to sort out some quirks.